Hey everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Go Paperless with Hubdoc and Fujitsu ScanSnap. Firstly, just a huge thank you for everyone joining us today. We're really excited to get into the webinar in a little bit. First and foremost, obviously, thanks to you for taking up time out of your day to join us. We hope the webinar will be super duper informative, but also a huge thank you to Fujitsu ScanSnap for continuing to be an amazing partner of Hubdoc. I think over the last few months, we've really, grown our partnership, and a webinar like this is kind of, shows that relationship continues to grow. Now, today, you'll have me, Matt Bunston, the country manager of Hubdoc, swinging you through a slide deck, basically giving you an understanding at a high level of, why you want to go paperless and some initial steps that should help you get started. And then a little later on, Dylan Burgess, our success lead.
Hey, everyone.
Dylan's going to be actually running you through a live Deminar, as we call it, of ScanSnap and Hubdoc working together, and some tricks that you can use not only at your practice, but maybe on a client-by-client basis if your clients are willing to engage with this fantastic ScanSnap tool. So we're both, really, really excited to be here today. So some housekeeping before we fully dive into the presentation. First and foremost, we will send you the recording, so keep an eye on your inbox. What we find the recordings are great for, and what we're going to try as best we can to do is give you kind of time marks throughout the webinar recording so that you can know when to go where. When you want to find out how to scan to a folder or scan to email, you'll be able to quickly find that part of the webinar. So use this as a tool, not only for yourself, but perhaps staff members to learn a bit more about the solutions working together. But keep an eye out for that in your inbox as a follow-up in the next couple days. Secondly, please ask questions. We're going to do our best to provide answers sort of as we go through the webinar. But certainly we will have a question and answer period at the very end, and no question is sort of is a bad question, I'd say. If chances are, if you're thinking it, someone else has asked it before. And at the end of the day, that's how you get the most out of your webinar experience. So please, 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 in the GoToWebinar control panel, ask us questions. Now, thirdly, just a bit of a tip. I think, closing any unnecessary windows or applications, I am definitely a culprit of this. Try to put your phone away. It's going to give you a better webinar experience overall. And once again, just thanks for your attention today. Perfect. So as many of you know, some of you might not know, super exciting, we will be giving away a Fujitsu ScanSnap IX100 to one lucky webinar attendee. Once again, huge thanks to our friends at Fujitsu for providing that scanner. We're actually going to be doing that at the end of the webinar, so after Dylan's demo, in approximately 30 to 40 minutes max. So stay tuned for that. We'll be doing the random draw then and letting you know who won it on the presentation. So everyone can look forward to the giveaway then. Perfect. Let's dive in. So today we're going to be discussing two major things. One is going paperless, how to enable your paperless practice, right? What are the benefits of going paperless, and really how do you get started? Because I think that a lot of webinars can touch on the benefits and the why, but we want to show you the how, right? How do you actually begin the steps to get started? Now, secondly is that tech stack, right? How to go paperless with Hubdoc and Fujitsu ScanSnap, right? We want to give you the actual solution, show you the solution, and show you the tools so that you can implement this tech stack either at your practice or perhaps in some of your client workflows. Now, a couple of the kind of key headings we'll be touching on are how to digitize documents efficiently using your Fujitsu ScanSnap, Secondly, how Hubdoc actually automates document collection and data entry. We will be touching on that very briefly. We know this webinar is not about our platform, but we will just be showing you, a couple tips and tricks and reasons why Hubdoc actually helps you go paperless as well. And finally, just a few tips and best practices, when using our programs together, and perhaps, how you engage clients. Now, before doing a deep dive into the technology, we did want to level set and kind of discuss what, accounting and bookkeeping firms need to begin their paperless journey. What are the benefits of going paperless, and really, how do I get started? So that's where we wanted to begin the webinar. Now, going paperless can help reduce a number of things. First and foremost, and probably most obvious, storage space, right? It's estimated that up to 25% of your firm's office space, or even one of your client's office space, can be used to store paper documents, right? So going paperless will put that space to far better use, and ideally eliminate the proverbial shoeboxes of client documents, right? Everyone has that old vision of an office space with the big clunky filing cabinets, and ideally that space can be put to better use, whether that's putting in something fun like a ping pong table, or just having more office space for people to walk around, perhaps a couch area for people to sit. I think everyone can get behind decluttering any space. Now, secondly, waste. Obviously, going paperless is environmentally friendly. Now, even if your firm is good at paper destruction in terms of recycling and the like, it is certainly more environmentally friendly to use cloud-based products to store paper than using the energy needed to recycle. So once again, might be obvious, but waste is definitely a big thing that we can reduce by going paperless. Thirdly is printing expenses, right? We've spoken to several Hubdoc partners who have recalled this pre-cloud days where printing was a core expense, and I think for some companies it can still be quite a costly thing, right? Certain businesses are still very paper-based, right? I think upwards of 60+% of Australian small businesses still deal in a ton of paper. So, eliminating that cost is going to bring down expenses. Now, cloud technology certainly isn't free. However, it's going to allow your firm to become more profitable in the long run, and certainly reduce expenses on unnecessary things, obviously, like printing fees. Now, if there's one thing that it can increase, going paperless can increase your efficiency, right? Paper-based processes are inefficient and time-consuming, right? They're manual by nature. If you think about the process of actually getting, a paper invoice, bill, or bank statement from your client, that's a manual process. Like, think about a clunky metal filing cabinet and having to file something in that filing cabinet. I have a little kind of anecdote I can add to this. I remember working for a airline company when I was in university for a summer job, and I was having to file flight logs in a big metal clunky filing cabinet. And not only was it painstaking and cumbersome, but it took me so much time, and it was a bit of a nightmare. I think one of those old old job nightmares that you don't want to have to do again. I mean, I can even remember, up until very recently, but my mom would manage all the personal household finances, and she would be filing bank statements, telco utility bills in physical filing cabinets in her house that would take up a tremendous amount of space, right? And so not only can moving to the cloud further automate and digitize these documents, but it can certainly optimize efficiency, right? Electronic often means more efficient, but certainly you do need to know how to use those tools, which is what we will be covering today. So, I think if you're joining us today, you're probably already sold on these benefits of going paperless, right? You probably know, okay, great, this is what I want to do, but some of you are probably saying, okay, how can I actually get started and take the next step? Now, we believe that the truth is there's really no right way to go paperless, but the process of moving that direction can certainly be distilled into 4 steps. So first and foremost, start small, right? So if you think about, you know, going paperless, you can't just turn off a tap and automatically digitize everything. Document your workflows to understand which processes are laden with paper and when and where you should start. So the where you should start is an interesting facet, right? You might say, great, let's look at certain clients. Let's at certain clients that are still giving me paper bank statements, that are still dropping off physical document files. Maybe that's where we can begin. You know, many banks and actually telcos and utilities, little to maybe you or even your clients know, they're actually charging you for sending you paper documents and physical files. So turning that off and perhaps using a tool like Hubdoc to fetch documents is going to allow you to even cut out a small portion of that paper that will allow you to start on the journey and kind of help display the benefits to your client. Now, secondly, is ensuring you have the right tools to go paperless. You know, it's obviously not as easy as just saying, great, we're going paperless, right? You actually need to have the right tools that will help you audit-proof your business and store documents securely. So that certainly needs to be something that's always in mind, right? You can't just say, great, we're going paperless without having the right, printing tools or scanning tools rather, and without having the right, document storage tools. Now, thirdly, and I sort of think this is one of the most important, you need to ensure your team, as well as your clients, are actually on board with this. Right? Anytime you're instituting large scale change, change management is a huge part of the process. So ensuring there is buy-in and a clear implementation plan is really important, right? You need your staff to see the benefits and be behind this change. Your clients also need to be behind that as well. And I think we can actually circle that back to start small, right? Because you don't need to do it all at once, but when you start on this journey, it's sort of like the snowball effect, where the snowball will get bigger and it'll become much more easy to add other documents and other processes to the process once you get the ball rolling. So once again, get buy-in from the team and create that clear implementation plan. Now, just keep in your mind that it's an ongoing process, right? You're gonna need to repeat and optimize your workflow until you're entirely paper-free. Right? So, sort of rinse, repeat. It's going to be an ongoing process. Start small, ensure you have the right tools, make sure your clients are on board as well as your team, and just know that it doesn't happen overnight. Now, for the purpose of this webinar, we're actually going to focus on the optimizing your tech stack for paperless process. We know we're not giving you every answer. Every firm's kind of journey is going to be relatively unique, but we think that if we can actually show you how to optimize a part of your tech stack, especially if you will be using, ScanSnap and Hubdoc together, it should give you at least, a part of the journey where you can begin thinking about implementing, right? And really, the truth is you're always going to have some paper, right? So you need hardware like a Fujitsu ScanSnap, these new age scanners that really do help digitize paper documents and really work well with your cloud accounting tech stack. So, what we're going to start doing is we're going to look at the combined powers of Hubdoc and Fujitsu ScanSnap and see how they can really enable the paperless practice. So this is the technology part of the webinar. Perfect. So, quite obviously, Hubdoc is a document management and document collection tool. And when integrated with cloud accounting technology, we make bookkeeping centralized, paperless, and automated. Now, I know this is basic, and many of you know this, but obviously transactions happened. Documents get into Hubdoc in a variety of ways, whether your client is taking a picture with the mobile app, emailing in, or scanning using their Fujitsu scanner. That will get into Hubdoc. Now, the alternative way is actually having documents auto-fetched, right? Hubdoc can automatically fetch recurring bills and statements from banks and online suppliers. It's really what is our differentiator in the market. It's something that we've been doing for 7+ years now. And we want to get those hard to fetch documents. We want to get the documents that you're having to chase up your clients for month in, month out. And we ideally want to get the documents that aren't available by email, right? That require manual administrative work by nature from your clients, right? So, the benefits of the auto fetch, especially of a bank statement to a client that is still mailing you or emailing you pictures of a bank statement, is pretty clear, right? And so using those auto fetching documents is great. Now, once these documents are in our platform, the key data is extracted and the documents are filed, and then especially if it's a transactional type document like invoice or receipt, you can then post that and code it to your general ledger to be reconciled. Perfect. Now, when we kind of move on to the Fujitsu ScanSnap and their stack of products, I think that, at a very high level, they're just, phenomenal new age products, right? We all have, had experience with the old flatbed scanner. I'm actually in the office space that we use. I'm looking at one downstairs at the moment. They're kind of huge, they're clunky, they take up a whole corner of your office. Now, what the Fujitsu scanners do, namely the IX500 and IX100, which we'll focus on today, they're no bigger than a personal computer, right? They are about the size of a laptop sitting on your desk, and yet their technology is in many ways more powerful than the old large flatbed scanners that you would have no doubt had experience with. So as we move into these actual products, we can get into a bit of the feature functionality of the IX500 and what that looks like. So, first and foremost, the IX500 is quite powerful, right? It has advanced separation technology that can actually rapidly scan many PDF documents at a time. So as you can see here, just a little bit of detail on how that actually works and how that efficiency is created. So, it can do multiple documents, it can do long documents, it can do documents of different sizes, and it's actually very easy to set that up, right? There actually is no settings or tools you need to do on your end to enable the feeding of many documents into this IX500. It's really a phenomenal product. Now, when we look at the specs, it can do 25 pages per minute. It can support up to 50 page input at the top at once. Those can scan all to separate PDFs if you'd like. There's a built-in GI microprocessor, and it allows for wireless scanning from your PC or Mac, or also onto an Android phone, right? So it is a very, very powerful tool. Now, as we move along here, we're going to look at the IX100. This is the product that we'll actually be giving away on today's webinar, and Dylan will actually be showing on the webinar today. So you'll actually get a first-hand glimpse at how this works. And although it's it's a little bit smaller than the IX500 and doesn't allow for a stack of papers to be put in the top, it's really powerful for how small it is. I mean, I don't know how to. Maybe it's like comparing a full PC to a smartphone, right, Dylan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it can fit in your pocket, believe it or not, but it can actually rapidly scan full documents in 5.2 seconds. I mean, I think it even does that in even less time than that. It's battery powered, so as long as it's charged up, you could actually bring it around with you, let's say to a client's place of work, for instance. It also has a built-in GI microprocessor and does allow for wireless scanning, but it also has direct connect mode. So additionally, you can actually plug it in, which is what Dylan has set up right now, which we'll see in a few moments, and it's plugged in, ready to be scanned and kind of used to make your practice or your client go paperless. So what we'll be doing in a few moments, as I pass it over to Dylan, is discussing a couple workflows. Now, the first workflow is to scan to folder using profiles. As you can see by my lovely emojis, there's ScanSnap, there's a folder, there's Hubdoc. Secondly is scan to email using profiles, ScanSnap, email, Hubdoc. Now, as Dylan will show you, it is actually a pretty simple process to set up. And once you've set it up, it is very simple from then on forward. And Dylan's sort of our resident ScanSnap champion. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the presenter role over to Dylan, and we will get started.
Perfect, thanks Matt. Hopefully that all changed across okay. If it didn't, let us know in the question panel. But you should now be able to see my screen, and as Matt mentioned, I've done a few of these ScanSnap setups, and after talking with advisors, I've kind of come up with a couple of best practices that I've found across the setups that I've done in the last few months. And from there we're going to put together the two best ones that we've found. Super easy to set up, as you'll see on the webinar, and then from there it's nice and easy going forward. So I'm just going to share my video for you so that you can actually see that we're going to do this live. So once this comes up, hopefully that is working okay. And we've got our trusty ScanSnap IX100 here, as you can see. We're going to get into that in just a moment. But before we get into that, like Matt mentioned, a lot of this automation around digitizing and getting into a paperless practice can be done from the start. So you can actually go back and get rid of paper at the source. So what I mean by that is, if there are documents available on portals, let Hubdoc go in and fetch them, rather than having your clients paying for them or having your clients having to go in and download them or walk them through how to download the bank statement or the CSV file. Get Hubdoc to do that for you. So obviously a lot of people are aware of our automated connections. You can see our most popular ones there. You can also use this search bar in the top left corner to search for any of those connections as well, if they're not available there. We have about 230 of these, and we're constantly building these based on demand. And what we do is we fetch everything that's available, and we do it on a reoccurring basis so that your clients don't actually have to send those paper documents to you, and you don't have to have the time dealing with them. So we've done a couple of webinars on this. There's actually an automated onboarding webinar that you can look up as well, that actually walks through how to get your clients to engage in this. But something like a Zoom call, you can actually do a screen share with the client, swap the controls over to them, get them to select their bank, and then just input their credentials securely into Hubdoc. And at the end of this webinar, we're going to just go through our security features as well. But once we do that and they set that connection up one time, what we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to fetch everything that is available on the portal. As you can see there, we're going to file it based on sub account, and we're going to do this on a reoccurring basis. Now, not only do we fetch bank statements, we also fetch CSV files, and they will actually be in a subfolder below that account. And we just had a question before about, why do I sometimes see CSV files and not PDF bank statements? And why do I sometimes only see PDF bank statements and not CSV files? Really good question, and it depends on the banking portal. So I'm just going to bring up our connections list here. And what you'll see in just a moment once this loads is that you're going to see our enhanced connections. These are our banking connections, and you can see which ones have CSVs enabled on the right-hand column there. So for any of these, you're going to see both bank statements and CSV files. Now, if it doesn't have a yes here, so say Bank of Queensland, for example, this isn't an enhanced feed. So if you've got a client with a Bank of Queensland connection, we're only going to fetch PDF bank statements. We're not going to fetch CSV files. So that is why you would only see PDF bank statements. Now, on the flip side, why would you see CSV files and not PDF bank statements? And that would be most likely because your client has not enrolled in paperless, in e-statements, so paperless statements. So if they've got online statements available on the portal, we're going to fetch them. But if it's an account that is available on the portal, but it's not set up to have e-statements enabled, we can't get those documents unless they are there on the portal. So what we're going to do is we're going to fetch the CSV files, because we can do that without the PDF statement being available, but we can't actually fetch that PDF statement. So really good question, and hopefully that answers your question. Now, not only do we fetch from banks, we also fetch from online suppliers. So get those online invoices and those online receipts like Bunnings receipts or Telstra receipts. Same process. Get your client to log into Hubdoc, get them to choose that connection, get them to input their username and password for that portal, and then we will fetch those documents for you. So if I just add account in there, I've already got one set up for Dylan Burgess, so I'm just going to do that for perfect. And so what we're going to do is we are going to fetch all of the available Telstra documents, just like we did with the CommBank documents. And not only that, we're going to instantly extract the information from that, so you can see that there, so that you can code and create transactions in Xero or QBO. Now, like we said, today is all about Fujitsu, but we just wanted to go through those workflows because obviously if you can eliminate paper at the source, then it's going to actually help with those workflows and help streamlining what's involved to minimize the amount that you need ScanSnap. But once you do have paper files, which we've got some here to get started with, you'll see that ScanSnap makes dealing with those and digitizing those super, super easy. Perfect. So as Matt mentioned, we're going to go through two workflows. So workflow number one is going to be using scan to folder. And what we're going to do is we're going to show the PDF splitting functionality of ScanSnap. Super powerful, super convenient, and makes it nice and easy to get documents into Hubdoc. Another one that you can set up, and this is probably easier for your clients, is if you set up scan to email and they can send it directly into their unique intake email. So in my case, it's sunshineshipping@app.hubdoc.com. Nice and easy to get those documents into Hubdoc. So we're just going to walk through how easy it is to actually put these together. So what you're going to have is you're going to have ScanSnap Manager installed. Now, to go through that installation process, we've actually put together a help desk article. And we're going to be doing a help desk article that's a summary of today's webinar that will be available in the next week or so. And to get to that, click on the account in the top right and click on the help button there. And that will take you to our help desk. Now, once you get to that help desk, what you're going to be able to do is you can search for ScanSnap and actually see all of the articles related to ScanSnap. So I'm just going to search for ScanSnap there. You'll see there. And then from there, you can see ScanSnap desktop installation process. Now, because we're in Australia, we want ScanSnap desktop, so I'm just going to click on that ScanSnap desktop installation process there. And you can see there that there is an installation process written by yours truly. And from there, you can actually see how to install it for both Mac as well as Microsoft to make sure that you not only are you setting up the software for the right scanner, but also for the right operating system. So just wanted to cover that off and show that help desk. And like I said, there is going to be some help desk articles that walk through today's webinar as well. Awesome. So coming back into Hubdoc, we've got ScanSnap Manager installed. You can see it here in the bottom right-hand corner. It's grayed out just because I haven't got my scanner turned on yet. We will do that once the setup is done. But what we want to do is we want to right-click on that icon. Now, once we right-click on that icon, we want to choose the settings button. So you can see the settings button there. And once you choose the settings button, you'll see a pop-up like this. Now, there's a couple of tricks here for these workflows. The first one is you want to uncheck use quick menu. So uncheck that. That will enable you to use profiles, which is what we're going to need. And you also want to expand the detail so that we can change some settings there as well. So use quick menu and make sure you expand that details button. Perfect. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a profile for scan to folder for single page documents. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that profile button. We're then going to go down to add profile. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a profile and we're going to call it single page file upload. Okay, so I'm going to call it that. And I'm going to click OK. And you see there the profile is now selected in the top right. And what we're going to do is we're going to work our way across these tabs to get it set up correctly. So the first tab we're going to click on is Application. And once we click on the Application tab, you can see that this drop-down menu appears. Now you want to choose the application if you're scanning to a folder as None Scan to File. So that top option there. We're going to change this for the scan to email workflow, but let's just go through scan to file, sorry. Click apply in the bottom right hand corner, and that will apply those settings for you. Next one is save. So I want to click on the save tab there. Once that's selected, I want to go browse, and I want to choose the folder that I want to save these documents into. So I'm just going to save them into my ScanSnap ML folder there. And then from there, I'm going to click apply in the bottom right hand corner as well. Next one is the scanning tab. So this is a tab that will set up how you want your documents scanned in. Automatic resolution is what we recommend. Auto color detection we also recommend. Scanning side. Now this has the option of duplex if you've got a ScanSnap IX500. Be aware that you only want to use duplex scanning on any multi-page profile settings. If it's a single page file setup, always make sure it's set to simplex. So we've got a profile for single page here, so we want to set this one to simplex. Also be aware that the IX100 only allows scanning by simplex, but we can show how to do two-sided pages a little bit later on, so hold tight for that one. So simplex, and then we want to make sure that we have blank page removal selected and continue scanning after last page selected as well. Perfect, so that's those settings done. Now I haven't made any changes, but if you did, again, click apply in the bottom right hand corner to save those. And now the most important tab, file option. So this is where you need to set up ScanSnap to really optimize with Hubdoc. So first one is PDF, and the next one is check the convert to searchable PDF checkbox. So it says it may take extra time for processing text recognition. Select OK, take the extra couple of seconds to let it scan. The reason for that is because we have machine learning data extraction now. So what this does is it converts those documents, regardless of what they are, into true PDF documents that machine learning model can then read. And so as you're uploading more and more documents, you're going to see almost instantaneous data extraction that you're hopefully going to see on today's webinar. Again, make any changes, click apply in the bottom right hand corner, and then you can set your paper and compression settings as well. And so from there, you can set your paper and compression settings. Now, Matt flagged one thing, which I almost forgot, and it's literally the most important thing about the entire thing, and it is using this option button in the bottom right on file option. So option button here actually lets you choose multi-page or single-page PDF. So this is where the PDF splitting magic happens. So you want to choose, because we've got a single-page profile, we want to generate one PDF file per one page. So click OK there, and that again will apply those rules. Perfect. So now we've actually got this set up properly, and we're generating one PDF file per one page for the single page profile that we're setting up. Perfect. Now coming back to the paper and compression tabs. Paper has set to automatic detection, and this will allow you to scan any kind of receipts in, and ScanSnap will be kind enough to actually figure it out for you to get it into Hubdoc nice and easily. And compression just makes sure that your documents are readable, particularly if they're big documents. You might want to change the compression settings, but in most instances, you will not need to adjust these. Perfect. And so that's the setup. So we're going to go through single page. You can do exactly the same thing for multi-page. The only difference with multi-page is you choose a profile, add profile. You're going to do multi-page file upload. So all we did was just create a new profile. Now, once we've done that, you're going to see that all of those settings that we set for single page are already applied. So the only thing we need to do is just go on option there in the bottom right hand corner and toggle that radio button to multi-PDF and click OK. And so that's it. So that's the setup. So if you're using this workflow, took me about, I think, 10 minutes, 8 minutes to set up, and that's it. So that's done. So now let's actually get into using this. So now when you open your scanner, you're going to see, I'm going to open this up now. We're going to actually get into using the scanner. I'm opening it up, and what you'll see there, as soon as I've opened it up, you're going to see that IX100 is ready to scan. So you see that button there? Your ScanSnap Manager icon is now blue. Now we're going to do 2 single-page documents for the file upload. So you can see got those 2 documents there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left-click, and I want to choose the single-page file upload button. So that's all those settings applied in one simple click. From there, all I need to do is to simply put that document in, click the start button. It's going to scan, page 1, ready, and it will just continue scanning each page, so you can just keep feeding page after page after page until you've gone through all of your clients' single page PDF documents. And once you're done, just click finish scanning. So it's going to then go through the text recognition process. While it's doing that, click the add receipt button. You've got the little window there ready to drag and drop files. So open that folder. There's my 2 documents there. So I've opened that folder, and then I can easily drag and drop those into Hubdoc, and then you'll see those appear straight away. And what you're hopefully going to see in just a few seconds is that we're going to extract these in a number of seconds. Now, if this doesn't happen all the time, the machine learning model will do its best to read those documents in real time. And when it does, it will actually populate those and put them into the review tab for you with all of that information instantaneously. Perfect. So that is the scan to files. So that's it. That's done. So those are in there ready to be extracted. And then for the next one, let's go through actually setting up scan to email. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on ScanSnap Manager. We're then going to go to settings in the button there as well. And now we're going to set up a new profile, but this time we're going to use scan to email. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a profile. And we're going to call this scan to email. Now I am conscious of the time, so I'm just going to do a multi-page one for scan to email. So I'm just going to do scan to email multi-page and click OK. Again, exactly the same process for single page. The only difference is this file option page. So when you do scan to email, there's 2 steps you need to change. The first step is application tab. So go to the application tab, and then rather than choosing scan to file, you want to choose scan to email. Perfect, scan to email. And then once that's done, you can go apply. And once that's applied, your save, you can choose to back it up to a folder if you wish. Don't have to though. Scanning, same settings as last time. File option, like I said, the only difference is for the difference between multi-page and single page is clicking that option button in the bottom right hand corner. Now this is a multi-page profile, so I'm going to choose the multi-page radio icon there. So just the same as doing multi-page for scan to file. Click OK, click apply, and that's it, you're done. So that's actually set up ready to go scan to email. So now you're going to see how easy it is to actually scan to email as well. So I've actually got a dual-sided Optus invoice. So this is how to handle multi-page scanning. So I'm just going to go again with the ScanSnap. Again, left-click, scan to email, multi-page, and you can simply get the scanner, get your paper documents, feed it into the scanner. It will scan it in that 5-second mark for you, as we explained, and it will just do it page by page. Perfect. So that's now done. I can click finish scanning. And what you're going to see is it's again going to go through that OCR process for you. And then I want to go attach to email. So I'm going to unselect save scanned image. I'm going to go attach to email. And then all I need to do is input the email of my Hubdoc account, which in my case is Sunshine Shipping. at app.hubdoc.com. As you can see, that's already pre-saved, so it's nice and easy. You can attach up to like 10 documents to an email if you want. So you can do 10 at a time before you click finish scanning, and then send those right on into Hubdoc. And obviously, in the true nature of Hubdoc, it's going to be available instantly for you. And as a lot of you have already seen, the power of the machine learning will kick in if it remembers that document, and will extract it in a few seconds for you. Perfect. So,
hey Dylan, do you mind showing? Someone kind of brought up a good question about
Sure.
filing documents that are transactional.
Yep.
So obviously Hubdoc's only extracting data from transactional documents. So like, what's your best practice for getting those filed?
Yeah, good question.
And I guess archived as well.
Yeah, no, really good question. Okay, so I don't actually have a non-transactional document, but let's say this Optus invoice was actually, I don't know, like last quarter's business activity statement. Okay, it's not something with a vendor name, a date, a total amount, or anything like that. So how can I digitize non-financial documents using ScanSnap? So as you saw, it doesn't matter what kind of document it is. ScanSnap can scan it into Hubdoc. But then what do you do when it's in Hubdoc? So you're going to see that document straight away. And what you can do is you can pop open the right-hand side there. And all you need to do is choose a new vendor. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new vendor there. So I just clicked the drop down and selected add new vendor. I'm then going to create Q3 2018 business activity statement. I'm then going to create that vendor. I'm then going to put in the date as the 31st of March. And then all I need to do, so all you need is the vendor name and the date. Reason for that is because vendor name you'll see that we automatically file by, and date make sure that we keep it in chronological order for you. And then you can choose the archive button at the top there. So you can click that archive button, and what you'll see is that document that we just dealt with is now in uploads folder. If I go to Q3 2018 BAS, it's there, filed away for me, and it's going to be in date order. So if you wanted to just put all of your business activity statements in a BAS folder, you could actually have each one as in order of the month that it was lodged. So that is how to handle all of your paper documents. And like we said, we automatically file it. And this is all completely customizable. We did a webinar recently on our product updates. So if you want a copy of that, please send us an email at support@hubdoc.com.au, because it goes through the complete customization using AutoFile 2.0, which is a new way that we file documents in this left-hand folder structure here. Really great question. Thank you for asking that one. Perfect. So that is uploading documents with ScanSnap and getting them into Hubdoc and digitizing them nice and quickly. So this is not just for you, this is also for your clients. So all you need to do is go through that setup process with your clients, choose which option is going to make the most sense for them, whether it's scan to email or scan to folder, and then drag and drop, set them up with it. And then all they need to do, like you saw with the email, is just left click, choose the right profile, whether it's single page or multi-page, scan them in, and then type in the email. And then all those documents will appear in Hubdoc. And you can upload 10. We recommend about 10 at a time. So you can drag and drop 10 at a time, or you can upload 10 at a time via email as well. Awesome. Okay, so I am conscious of the time, so I'm going to try and be really quick here. But I just wanted to show that when you do actually have a document, all your documents in Hubdoc, now there are a couple in processing, so we would want to wait till those finish up processing. And once you clear out your processing tab, your review tab, your failed tab, and everything is in Xerox QBO, if you wanted to back these up, we actually back up to cloud storage. So you can do that by clicking accounts in the top right, going to the destinations tab, and then connecting either Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, SmartVault, or ShareFile. And you can actually see I've actually created a document. I've actually created a folder called Sunshine Shipping in my Dunshane Associates Dropbox account. And so I can back up all those documents and all of those files into Dropbox. And you can do that simply once that's connected by clicking on this little down arrow next to all documents and going push to Dropbox. Now, like I mentioned, if there is anything left in processing, review, or failed, it will automatically archive them by doing this. So make sure you clear out those tabs. You've finished all the processing, and the last step is to push those documents to Dropbox. And once you do that, you'll see this is my Dunshane Associates Dropbox account. You can see my clients there. If I click on Sunshine Shipping, you can see my bills and statements and my uploads. So if I go to uploads, you'll see those files there. And that's all my folders that you saw in Hubdoc. So that's a nice, easy way to back it up. Getting everything away from your emails, getting everything away from paper manila folders, getting all of your documents into secure online cloud storage environments. And on the topic of security, the last thing I want to cover in this webinar is two-factor authentication. To make sure that every Hubdoc account remains secure and to make sure you stay compliant with Australian standards, you need two-factor authentication now. So to set up two-factor authentication, you can only do it in the account you've logged into. So you can't set it up for your clients for security purposes, because obviously your clients need to set up their own 2FA. But to do it in your account, I can show you that so that you can show your clients how to do it when you're setting them up with Hubdoc. So I've logged in as my VIP. So I want to toggle into my VIP account there on the left-hand side. And then once I'm in my VIP account, once that loads up, all you need to do is click on accounts in the top right-hand corner up here. So you should see that in a second. That will then bring up our accounts page, and you can choose the security tab on the far right there. And now you can set up two-factor authentication. So you can see the two-factor authentication there. So click on set up two-factor authentication. You can see you've got Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, or 1Password. So any of those apps will work on your phone. So set one of those up on your phone. Click on set up two-factor authentication. And once you do that, make sure you note down this recovery key. Super, super important that you note down this recovery key if we ever need to unlock your account. Once you've done that, note down that you've recorded your recovery key, set up two-factor authentication, and then the app will prompt you to scan a QR code, or you can get a manual key. You can put that code in there, and then that will prompt you to put it in when you log into not only the web application, but also the mobile application. Awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to hand back over to Matt to wrap up. So I'm going to turn off the video, and I'm going to hand back over to him. Now, if you do have any questions, he's going to go through that as part of the wrap up. So please stay tuned for that, as well as the giveaway. Cheers.